Alright, so I had to delay this video because the Marvel Tokon closed beta dropped over the weekend, and I didn't want to miss a single second of it. But now that it's concluded, let's get back to Honkai Star Rail and talk about something important. As you guys know, I went back and forth on whether to pull for Cerydra. I know she's been getting mixed impressions from players since the beta, which is unusual. Normally, Harmony characters are praised for being universally good in this game. But this time it's different because for the first time, Hoyoverse released a premium niche Harmony unit. The thing about niche characters is that they're always context dependent, which instantly splits the community. Some players welcome their uniqueness, while others dislike them because they don't want to invest resources into a unit that isn't always useful. Seridra isn't the kind of character players can just slot into any team and expect results like you would with Tribi, Robin, or Sunday. Her value depends heavily on the specific team around her. My thought process was somewhat like this. I was already sitting on pity, and after looking at the version 3.6 lineup, it honestly feels like a skip patch for me. I'm missing every single teammate Evernight wants, and Dragon Dan Hang is rumored to be free, so there's basically little to no reason for me to spend there. On the other hand, I already own what people call Cyridra's best teammates, Phanon and Archer. So my choice was either pull now or go through another drought of no new characters until version 3.7. And I've been down that road before, skipping everything since Sunday's first banner to save for Saber and Archer, which left me with 0 Amphorius characters until Phanon, and I am not going through that again. That's why I decided to pull her in the end. It's no big deal, since by the time version 3.7 arrives, I'll have another pity ready for whoever shows up then. But after a few days of using Cerydra, something came to mind. Something that goes beyond her kit. She could either be Hoyoverse's first real misstep, or the spark of a new era for this game. That's what I want to discuss with you guys in this video. It seems to me that HSR players don't like niche characters, especially supports. They only work well with specific units, which makes the Jades spent feel less rewarding because they lose a lot of freedom in team building. I completely understand that sentiment, because I feel the exact same way about Evernight. As someone who considers myself a March 7th main, I'd love to pull for Evernight. However, the fact that I'm missing all her compatible teammates forces me to skip, and honestly, that's kind of frustrating. I expressed this feeling in a community post before, so I get where some people are coming from when they say, Cerydra is underwhelming. They don't really mean it, it's just a reaction from being frustrated. Being niche doesn't always mean the character is bad. They just communicate their value differently. Instead of showing their worth through their own kit, niche characters reflect their value using players' accounts. And that's why sometimes it gets personal. Nobody likes being told that the account they've spent thousands of Jades on isn't good enough to properly use this brand new character. Instead of accepting the limitations of their account, some players get defensive and go back to blaming the character's kit. That's exactly what happened to Cerydra. So when being asked if I regret pulling Cerydra, my answer is simple. Absolutely not. I have Phanon and Archer, who are both my main DPS right now. On top of that, I found an untapped synergy between Cerydra and Saber, another unit I love using. With 3 characters in my roster who benefit from her, of course, I don't regret it. The story will be completely different for players who don't own these 3 units. From a revenue perspective, this sounds counterintuitive. Why would Hoyoverse alienate part of the player base from pulling Cerydra when Universal Harmony units in the past have consistently driven massive sales? Harmony has basically become the must-pull path in this game. So the question is, was this just them experimenting, or is there a bigger plan at work? And then I noticed a pattern. Heislands was niche. Cerydra is niche. The upcoming 3.6 characters also look niche. And who knows, maybe even the 3.7 roster will follow the same trend. Think about it. If Hoyoverse keeps making universal use-everywhere characters, then every new unit must outclass the previous ones to drive sales. That's a dangerous cycle as it leads to HP inflation, power creep, and everything we hate right now. Ultimately, older characters get invalidated, and the game eventually bloats absurd multipliers. To slow that down, niche units are necessary. Niche units are like pressure valves for power creep. They give Hoyoverse room to push new banners without constantly raising the baseline. Since their value is tied to specific team comps and mechanics, they don't need to be flat out stronger than universal units to sell. They just need to be the best in their niche. Take Ceridra as an example. She won't compete directly with Robin or Sunday. Instead, she exists alongside them, filling a different role. That way, Robin and Sunday remain safe investments, while niche characters like Ceridra spice up gameplay and broaden team-building options. Sounds like a good plan, right? But the thing about niche units is, they're a double-edged sword. Too many of them, and suddenly the game starts feeling stingy or even unfriendly, like it's punishing its players for not having the right roster. With Hoyoverse's reputation, that narrative is gonna blow up fast. That's why balance is key. Hoyoverse needs to maintain a mix of universal staples and situational aces. With both, the meta rotates more naturally, without killing older units or alienating parts of the player base. So, what do you guys think? Are we stepping into the niche era? Or is this just Hoyoverse trying something different before backing off due to lack of revenue? I think we'll only know for sure once Cyrene's kit gets leaked. Since version 3.7 is the Amphorius finale, and judging by Fuji's kit, she's expected to take over Remembrance Trailblazer's role as a support. Coincidentally, they share the same element and path. At the very least, she should be a true damage buffer. The real question is whether her buffs will apply to everyone, or if they'll be locked behind specific conditions, like only working with Chrysos heirs. If Hoyoverse is bold enough to make a popular and long-awaited character like Cyrene niche, then it's not far-fetched to think version 4 might fully embrace the niche era.